The last live. In a small part of the city west of Washington Square, the streets have gone wild. They turn in the different directions. They are broken into small pieces called places. One street goes across itself one or two times. A painter once discovered something possible and valuable about this street. Suppose a painter had some painting materials for which he had not paid. Suppose he had no money. Suppose a man came to get the money. The man might walk down the street and suddenly meet himself coming back without having received a cent. This part of the city is called Greenwich Village, and to old Greenwich Village the painter soon came. Here they found rooms they liked with good light and a low cost. Sue and John C. lived the top of a building with three floors. One of these young women came from Maine, the other from California. They had met at a restaurant off 8th Street. There, they discovered that they liked the same kind of art, the same kind of food, and the same kind of clothes. So they decided to live and work together. That was in the spring. Toward winter, a cold stranger entered Greenwich Village. No one could see him. He walked around touching one person here and another there with his icy fingers. He was a bad sickness. Doctors called him pneumonia. On the east side of the city, he hurried touching many people. But in the narrow streets of Greenwich Village, he did not move so quickly. Mr. Pneumonia was not a nice old gentleman. A nice old gentleman would not hurt a weak little woman from California. But Mr. Pneumonia touched Jonesy with his cold fingers. She lay on her back almost without moving, and she looked through the window at the wall of the house next to hers. One morning, the busy doctor spoke to Sue alone in the hall, where Jonesy could not hear. "She has a very small chance," he said. "She has a chance if she wants to live. If people don't want to live, I can't do much for them. Your little lady had decided that she is not going too well. Is there something that is troubling her?" "She always wants to go to Italy and paint pictures of Bay of Naples," said Sue. "Paint, not paint. Is there anything worth being troubled about?" "A man? A man?" said Sue. "Is a man worth—" "No, doctor, there is not a man. It is weakness," said the doctor. "I will do all I know how to do. But when a sick person begins to feel that he is going to die, half of my work is useless. Talk to her about no winter clothes. If she were interested in the future, her chances would be better." After the doctor had gone, Sue went into the workroom to cry. Then she walked into John's room. She carried some of her painting materials and she was singing. Jonesy lay there, very thin and very quiet. Her face was turned toward the window. Sue stopped singing, thinking about that Jonesy was asleep. Sue began to work. As she worked, she heard a low sound again and again. She went quickly to the bedside. Jonesy's eyes were open wide. She looked out the window and counting back. 12, she said, and a little later 11, and then 10 and 9, and then 8 and 7 almost together. Sue looked out the window. What was there to count? There was only the side wall of the next house a short distance away. The wall had no windows. An old tree grew against the wall. The cold breath of winter had already touched it. Almost all its leaves had fallen from in dark branches. "What is it, dear?" asked Sue. "Six," said Janice, in a voice still lower. "They're falling faster now. 3 days ago there were almost 100. It hurt my head count them. But now it's easy. There goes another one. There are only 5 now." "5 what, dear? Tell your Sue." "Leaves on the tree. When the last one falls, I must go too. I've known that for 3 days. Didn't the doctor tell you?" "Oh, I never heard of such a thing," said Sue. "It doesn't have any sense in it. What does an old tree have to do with you, or with your getting well? And you used to love that tree so much. Don't be a little fool. The doctor told me your chance for getting well. He told me this morning. He said you had worked very chance. Try to eat a little now, and I'll go back to work. And then I can sell my picture, and then I buy something more for you to eat to make you strong. You don't have to buy anything for me," said Jonesy. She still looked at the window. "There goes another. No, I don't want anything to eat. Now there are 4. I want to see the last one of fall before night. Then I'll go too." "Jonesy, dear," said Sue, "will you promise me to close your eyes and keep them closed? Will you promise not to look out the window until I finish working? I must have this picture ready tomorrow. I need the light. I can't cover the window." "Couldn't you work in the other room?" asked Jonesy coldly. "I'd rather be here by you," said Sue. "I don't want to you look at those leaves." "Tell me as soon as you have finished," said Jonesy. She closed her eyes and lay white and still. "Because I want to see the last leaf fall. I have done enough waiting. I have done enough thinking. I want to go sailing down, down like one of those leaves." "Try to sleep," said Sue. "I must call Burnman to come up here. I want to paint a man in this picture, and I'll make him look like Burnham. I won't be gone a minute. Don't try to move till I come back." Old Bernard painted a well leaf on the first floor of their house. He was past 60. He had no success as a painter. For 40 years he had painted without ever painting a good picture. He had always talked about painting a great picture, a masterpiece, but he had never yet started. He got a little money, but letting others paint a picture of him, he drank too much. He still talked of his great masterpiece, and he believed that he is special duty to do everything possible to help Sue and Jonesy. She found him in the dark room, and she knew he had been drinking. She could smell it. She told him about Jonesy and the leaves on the vine. She said that she was afraid that Jonesy would indeed sail down like the leaf. Her hold on the world was growing weaker. Herman thought his anger over such a nutty. "What?" he cried. "Are there such fools? Do people did because leaf drop off a tree? I have not heard of such a thing. No, I will not come up and sit while you make a picture of me. Why do you allow her to think such a thing? That poor little Jonesy." "She is very sick and weak," said Sue. "The sickness has put these strange ideas into her mind, Mr. Burnham. If you won't come, you won't. But I don't think you're very nice." "This is like a woman," shouted Burnham. Who said I will not come? Go, I come with you. For half an hour I have been trying to say that I will come. God, this is not any place for someone so good as John C. lay sick. Some day I shall paint my masterpiece, and we shall all go away from here. God, yes. She was sleeping when they went up. Sue covered the window and took Penman into the other room. There they looked out the window for fully at the tree. Then they looked at each other for a moment without speaking. A cold rain was falling with a little snow in it too. Berman sat down and Sue began to paint. She worked through most of the night. In the morning, after a hour's sleep, she went to Johnsy's bedside. Johnsy, with wide open eyes, was looking toward the window. I want to see, she told Sue. Sue took the cover from the window. After the beating rain and the whirlwind that had not stopped through the whole night, there still was one leaf to the seen against the wall. It was the last on the tree. It was still dark greener the branch, but at the edges it was turning yellow with age. There it was hanging from a branch nearly 20 feet above the green. It is the last one, said Jonesy. I thought it would surely fall during the night. I hear whine. I will fall today and I shall die at the same time. Dear, dear Jonesy, said Sue, think of me. If you won't think of yourself, what would I? But Jonesy did not answer. The most lonely thing in the world and a soul when it is preparing to go on its far journey, the ties that held her to friendship and to her were breaking one by one. The days slowly passed. As it grew dark, they could still see the leaf hanging from the branch against the wall. And then, as the night came, the north wind began again. The rain still beat against the windows. When it was light enough the next morning, Jonesy again commanded that she be allowed to see. The leaf was still there. Jonesy lay for a long time looking at it, and then she called to see who was cooking something for her to eat. I've been a bad girl too, said Jonesy. Something has made that last leaf stay there to show me how bad I was. It is wrong to want to die. I'll try to eat now, but first bring me a looking glass so that I can see myself, and then I'll sit up and watch you cook. An hour later she said, Sue, someday I hope to paint by of Naples. Doctor came in the afternoon. Sue followed him into the hall outside John's room to talk to him. The chances are good, said the doctor. He took Sue's thin, shaking hand in his. Give her good care, and she'll get well, and I must another sick person in the house. His name Bernhard, a painter of belief. Pneumonia too. Mike and is older, weak man, and he is very ill. There is no hope for him, but we take him to the hospital. We'll make it as easy from him as we can. The next day, the doctor said to Sue, she's safe. You have done it. Fraud and care now, that's all. And that afternoon, Sue came to the bed where Jonesy lay. I have something to tell you, she said. Mr. Bernhard died of pneumonia today in a hospital. He was ill only 2 days. Someone found him on the morning on the first day in his room. He was helpless with his pain. His shoes and his clothes were wet and as cold and ice. Everyone wondered where he had been. The night had been so cold and wet, and they found something. There was a light that he had taken outside, and there were his material for painting. There were paint, green paint and yellow paint, and look out the window, dear. at the last leaf on the wall. Didn't you wonder why it never moved when the wind was blowing? Oh, my dear, it is Benjamin's great masterpiece. He painted it there the night that the last leaf fell.